Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films, and today I'm going to be starting my reactions to Mob Psycho 100. So this is going to be the show to replace Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We finished that up last week, if you haven't seen, and it was all around really good, really enjoyable, but now we must move on to a new show, Mob Psycho 100. I don't really know too much about this, other than I believe it's the same creator that did One Punch Man, except I don't know if this is accurate enough to say. I think this is not the Goofy show. But then again, everything I see is kind of goofy, so I don't know. They could just be both Goofy shows for all I know. I don't know, but I don't know. But the main thing is, I have seen One Punch Man, and we've reacted to the first two seasons here on the channel, so I'll be interested to see other work by this creator. So yeah, other than that, again, I really don't have a lot going into this. It's just, here's an anime. I hear it's really great, so I hear it's a really, really great anime, so I'm very curious to get into it. Now, a quick thing I want to say, and I've been teetering on this for like the past week, but I've been kind of going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're watching the sub. We are watching the sub. So for all of you who have ever wanted subbed content on this channel, well, here you go. We're finally going to do it. I've gone back and forth on subbed content. I normally react to dubbed content, but I have nothing wrong with subbed content. I watch a lot of subbed anime in my own time, actually. But for a reaction, it is just slightly more difficult than watching an English dub. But today I thought, you know what? We're gonna try it out. I think I'll be fine. I think I'll enjoy it. I have done subbed content on the channel before. We recently watched Ghost in the Shell in the original sub, and all the Attack on Titan OVAs. I watched all of those in the sub because there was no dub yet. So it's entirely possible for me to do it. I have some experience in it, and that's what we're going to be doing here today. We are going to be watching Mob Psycho 100 in the sub. I will say that I guess I should say part of the reason, too, that we're watching the sub is I know that something happened behind the scenes of Season 2 and Season 3, between Season 2 and 3 of this show in the dub, and I just didn't, want to think about it too hard, so we're just going to kind of do the sub. I hope that doesn't sound bad, but yeah. And if you know, you know. If you don't, look down in the comments. I'm sure there's somebody who'll point it out. But yeah, so I figured, you know what, we're just gonna avoid any sort of hassle. We're just going to watch the sub, and we're just going to enjoy it. Now, if you're new to the channel and you see me making a big deal about sub content, then you're probably thinking I'm a weirdo, but that's not entirely inaccurate, but that's beside the point. Anyway, but if you're new to the channel, I should go ahead and tell you that the way we do reactions here is just slightly not really different from everybody else, but the way we do it is very specific. That for anime reactions, because I'm sure if you've seen any other anime reactions on YouTube, you know that there are a lot of hoops that we have to jump through in order to get these reactions onto YouTube. And for me, I just don't even put the reaction itself on YouTube. If you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Mob Psycho 100, what you gotta do is head down in the description or into the pinned comment. There'll be a link. It'll say, watch the reaction highlight here. You click on that link. That'll take you over to basically just another site. It's a completely fine site. It's Internet Archive. That's like the most safe site you can go to. And there, you can just watch the reaction. It's cut like any normal reaction, it's just me watching the episode, having a good time. The second link there says, if that link doesn't work, try this. That leads you to the exact same video, just on Google Drive. If you're having trouble with Internet Archive, sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. So there's a backup link if you need it. So that's basically where the reaction is. You go, you watch it, you have a good time, and when you're done with that reaction, I do encourage you to come back to the YouTube video, because the discussion for the episode will be here, where I'll go over all the notes I took during the episode, and we'll talk about it, and enjoy it, I'm sure. And if you want to watch my full unedited reaction to this episode of Mob Psycho 100, that's also down in the description and in the pinned comment. There's another link there. Watch the full-length reaction here. It's my full unedited thing. You just got to bring your own copy. I'm watching this on Crunchyroll, so it's easy as possible for you to sync up your copy of this episode of Mob Psycho 100, be it on Crunchyroll or wherever else, to my video. You watch that, you hopefully have a good time, and then, again, come back to the YouTube video and we'll do the discussion, and you can leave all your comments if you want to. So, with that being said, why don't we jump right into episode 1 of Mob Psycho 100. Here we go.
If everyone is not special, maybe you can't be what you want to be. So let's
Okay. You know, I've recently started watching Soul Eater in my on my own time. This was a lot like that, except no, it's just a lot like that. Just different art. Still crazy animation though. Jesus. All right. Even now, I look up a lot of voice actors when I do these reactions, because it's always fun to see. I do actually want to look up, is it just Reigen? I guess it's just Reigen. Reigen? Just just how they say it. I don't think it's like Regan. I think it's just Reigen. So I'm going to look up his name. So, I'm going to look up his voice actor, because I'm pretty sure that it's I from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, but I'm going to be sure. So, one sec. Reigen Arataka. Let's see here. We've got Takahiro Sakurai. Well, in the Japanese version of Demon Slayer, he plays Gyu Tomioka, so that's interesting. In the Final Fantasy VII Remake, he plays Cloud. I think I'm right. Because I also notice on here... It's not showing it, but... Okay, well, in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, he plays Rohan Kishibe. So there's something. There it is. Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains as I. And I also know that in the Japanese version of Code Geass, he plays Susaku Kururugi. So... Alright, I'm not really recognizing anything else, but that's something. And yeah, because... And this is crazy because, you know, we're watching the Japanese version. But I definitely did recognize his voice. I was like, that is absolutely... Like, he's about to start summoning Attic Nisters left and right. You know? Because I recently finished Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, and I watched it in the sub. So... Now, everything else I mentioned on here, I haven't watched in the sub, but that's pretty cool. Super Robot Wars X, a 2018 video game where he also plays Susaku Kururugi. And then, yeah, Lelouch the Resurrection. I have watched that too. But I haven't seen Demon Slayer in the sub. I'm watching it in the dub. So, the last thing... I did want to look up the voice of Mob. So we've got Setsuo Ito. Let me see if I recognize him from anything else. Answer no, because there's not a lot else on here. Oh, that's alright. That's okay. It's fine. But I thought I kind of recognized him, but I guess I don't. So... Alrighty. Let me put this back. Alright. Episode 1 of Mob Psycho 100. Okay, first off, and I know I'm pretty positive that this is going to be a no shit, but we have to mention it specifically. Oh my god, this animation is fucking nuts. I love it so goddamn much, and the fact that it goes so hard from episode 1, oh my god, that is awesome. So, to all you Mob Psycho fans, here is what I'm sure you were all expecting, the praise for the art and animation. Oh my fucking god, that was awesome. Just Jesus Christ, just all the animating. I know that how specific, but all of that, just the movement, the different it's an interesting, I don't even know what to call this. Like, this is going to sound weird. Don't quote me on it, but just hear me out and see if this makes any sense. But the almost pencil-like to it, you know? And I say that because I see some anime that do this, like, and this is another weird comparison, but I recently watched Cells at Work and Cells at Work Code Black. And Cells at Work Code Black has more of a rougher sort of animation to it, you know, a rougher style, basically. And I guess you could honestly say that's very similar between this and One Punch Man. One Punch Man was a lot more clean. Now, the animation, you know, that went crazy in One Punch Man as well. But here, it's like, I feel like some of it, they're letting it be a bit rougher. And again, that almost like I can see the pencils being used to animate all of this. Even though, I mean, when did this come out? This says here on Crunchyroll 2016 at least. So I don't know if it came out before that, if it, you know, but at the very least 2016. So I'm pretty sure, you know, it would all still be digital, you know. That's how pretty much everything is animated today, is digitally. You know, nothing's really like hand drawn per se anymore. You know, everything has that sort of digital look. But I like having those more rougher edges, or that almost I'm gonna say pencil like quality to it, you know. And that I really appreciate. I really enjoy that. And again, because One Punch Man was also really, I don't know if these are the same studios, but at the very least, you know, it's the same mangaka. So having that similar style, but also very much having two distinct feels of look and animation, I really enjoy that. So that was really, really great. On to the plot itself. I think I get it. That again, this is sort of the same way after I watched the first episode of Soul Eater. I was like, okay, I think I understand. You know, in Soul Eater, it's like, well, there are, you know, these sort of demons, and you get all the demon souls and the witch soul, and then you become a, you know, Death Scythe or whatever. That's, you know, that's Soul Eater. And a similar thing is sort of playing out here, that, you know, you have psychics who go and, you know, vanquish, exorcise these spirits, basically. And we have our main protagonist, Mob, being a psychic. He is a powerful psychic, even though he's still a middle schooler. And we have Reigen. That doesn't sound right, but I'm pretty sure that's how they kept saying it, is Reigen. If I'm saying that wrong, feel free to yell at me about it in the comments. We'll, you know, when we start off a show, we always get some names wrong, and then we'll eventually get them right. So, but he, you know, this guy clearly is not a psychic, you know, but he's using Mob, I guess, for fame and glory and riches, but at the same time, they're still doing a good job. Like, they're still doing a good thing, even if he is exploiting Mob. They're still exercising these spirits and doing good things, you know? So, but they have this sort of dynamic, and yeah, they just go and they get a job, or they hear about some things, and they go and they take out these spirits. The only, well, maybe not only thing, I'm sure there's a ton of things I'm not understanding, just on the basis of it's the first episode and I just watched it. But the one thing I definitely explicitly don't understand is the thing that says Mob's progress toward explosion. And at the end of this episode, he's at 27%. I don't know what the hell that means. And they don't explain it. The only thing I can think is just if he uses his power too much, it could destroy him. Or maybe, like, if there's a thing of, like, well, as he uses his powers, it creates this sort of buildup in his body, and maybe he just needs to release it at some point, and he'll be okay, you know? He needs to safely release it at some point. But I don't know. They don't explain that whatsoever. I'm sure they will eventually, but so far, no, they don't explain it. But yeah, so that all is really interesting, and again, I like the dynamic between Reigen and Mob, you know. I thought that was really interesting. And again, even though he's clearly lying about being a psychic, he is still like a caring, you know, mentor, basically. And it seems that he is teaching Mob how to control his powers, and they are doing good things. It's just this is all on the basis of this guy clearly wants to exploit Mob's power for his own riches, But maybe it's not that. Maybe like I'm looking at it as sort of a worst case scenario, and even then, they're still doing good stuff, and Mob doesn't seem to be, really affected by it, It kind of makes you wonder if Mob knows, like maybe he does know that Reigen is not a psychic. That would be kind of interesting, but it's entirely possible he just doesn't know, It's also interesting, just having a character like Mob and comparing this to the other work by this mangaka that I've seen, being One Punch Man, where you can see similarities between Mob and Saitama. I love, though, that they are so much, they're similar even just down to, their eyes, obviously. But they're similar, but they're also vastly different, because Mob doesn't, I don't know, I don't want to say he doesn't care, but, like, he's so, like, almost deadpan, He's so deadpan, he's very innocent as well, whereas, there will be moments where, Saitama, he's just, completely blank-faced as things are happening around him, but there are times, like when he's trying to kill a mosquito, for example, and he just is like, fuck this thing, I have got to kill it at some point, and that eventually, I think, that's episode 2, that leads him straight to Genos. So, yeah. But there is very much a difference between Saitama and Mob seems to be like weirdly enough, he's less emotional than Saitama, and I don't know how you do that, or I guess more disconnected than Saitama is, and again, I don't know how you do that, but yeah. But yeah, that was good, and then we had going into the tunnel, which was interesting, and I like too, like, they make this whole big deal about this, the even bigger spirit that's been in this tunnel for hundreds of years, and everybody who's died has, been killed by this spirit. Except the biker gang. That really was just an accident with a banana peel. I was like, oh. So I like that. I'm glad they're, because I said at the beginning of this video that I was like, I think this is like the more serious one, but, I really was not sure on that. I think it's, less sort of parody, I think, than One Punch Man, I think is what I was trying to say. But, even just down to, this has a sense of humor. This definitely, absolutely has a sense of humor. And I like that, where he's like, no, we still died because of a banana peel. And I was like, oh, well, all right then. Poor things. And then, yeah, I love there's also, like, no explanation of that spirit either, the big spirit. Because it's like, this biker gang, you understand them because, like, well, they were a biker gang. They were humans. They died tragically, and they've been staying in this tunnel as, spirits who have not been able to pass on yet. But then Mob goes down and deals with the bigger spirit, and it's just a giant friggin' monster, and it's like, was this thing a human? We don't know, But there's also stuff like that in Demon Slayer, where in Demon Slayer, you have a lot of demons. You have some that look more human, like Kibutsuji or Nezuko, but then you have some demons that are less human. Even the one in the final selection at the beginning of the show, that's this giant, big, monster-looking demon, but even that was a human at some point, so who knows, maybe hundreds of years ago that guy was a human. Doesn't matter now, he's gone, so we didn't get any sort of a big, explanation of what that spirit was. He tried to eat Mob killed him, and that was that. So yeah. So that stuff was interesting. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. A good first episode. Again, love the art, love the animation. I'm definitely in for a good time with this. And yeah, I do like Reigen and Mob, our two protagonists. I think they're a good duo. And I'm curious to see where we are going here. And I also enjoyed watching this in the sub. So tell me if you guys enjoyed it. I did notice here that the subtitles here on Crunchyroll were decently large, but tell me if you would like the video to be enlarged next time. I keep the video at about 44% of the screen. I could enlarge it a little bit if it'll help with if it'll help with reading the subtitles. So yeah. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Mob Psycho 100 reactions, even though at the time of making this there isn't anything in there, but there will be soon. There's also another video on screen if you want to go check that out. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.